This was day 90 of the Biden administration, and former U.S. Senator Joe Biden is among those in American life and politics, remembering his friend from the Senate who went on to be the 42nd Vice President of the United States, Walter Mondale, who died this evening at the age of 93. We will have much more on his life and legacy later in this hour. Meanwhile, when you think about it, so much of the nation's attention is focused squarely on Walter Mondale's home state of Minnesota, where there is great tension tonight, now that the fate of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is in the hands of the jury. Almost a year ago, that video of George Floyd's killing ignited worldwide protests and forced our country to confront issues of police use of force and racial justice. Deliberations got underway late this afternoon as protesters started gathering at the courthouse in Minneapolis. They marched through parts of the city. The 12 jurors spent about 4 hours deliberating. They're now sequestered. They'll resume their deliberations in the morning. Minneapolis has, of course, increased security in advance of the expected verdict. City and state law enforcement now in place. They're joined by members of the National Guard, which tonight has also been activated in D.C. Derek Chauvin is charged with second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter. Today, after 45 witnesses, 14 days of testimony, the prosecution and the defense made their closing arguments to the men and women of the jury.
This is not a prosecution of the police. It is a prosecution of the defendant. What the defendant did was not policing. What the defendant did was an assault. Use your common sense. Believe your eyes. What you saw, you saw.
I submit to you that the state has failed to meet its burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You have to be convinced that the defendant's actions caused the death of Mr. Floyd. Actions that happened before Mr. Floyd was arrested that had nothing to do with Officer Chauvin's activities are not the natural consequences of the defendant's actions. The drug ingestion, right? The bad heart, the diseased heart, the hypertension. All of these things existed before Mr. Chauvin arrived.
You were told, for example, that Mr. Floyd died because his heart was too big. You heard that testimony. And now, having seen all the evidence, having heard all the evidence, you know the truth. And the truth of the matter is that the reason George Floyd is dead is because Mr. Chauvin's heart was too small.
Of course, this is America in 2021. Politics has never been far from this closely watched case, and most elected officials have not hesitated to weigh in. Well, today, after the jurors were escorted out of the courtroom, Chauvin's defense lawyer referred to comments from Democratic Congresswoman Maxine Waters of California, and the suggestion is her incendiary words could have an impact on the verdict somehow. Waters made her comments to a reporter at night this weekend at a rally in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota.
We're looking for a guilty verdict. I am very hopeful, and I hope that we're going to get a verdict that will say guilty, guilty, guilty. And if we don't, we cannot go away. We got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
So Chauvin's lawyer argued that right there was potentially grounds for a mistrial, and the judge didn't exactly disagree.
An elected official, United States congressperson, was making what I interpreted to be, and what I think are reasonably interpreted to be, threats against the sanctity of the jury process.
Well, I'll give you that Congresswoman Waters may have given you something on appeal that may result in this whole trial being overturned. I'm aware that Congresswoman Waters was talking specifically about this trial. Anything less than a murder conviction, and talk about being confrontational. This goes back to what I've been saying from the beginning. I wish elected officials would stop talking about this case especially in a manner that is disrespectful to the rule of law and to the judicial branch and our function. Their failure to do so, I think, is abhorrent, but I don't think it has prejudiced us with additional material that would prejudice this jury. They have been told not to watch the news. I trust they are following those instructions and that there is not in any way a prejudice to the defendant beyond the articles that we're talking specifically about the facts of this case. A congresswoman's opinion really doesn't matter a whole lot.
The usually measured Judge Cahill was angry there, as you saw, but on the merits, he went on to deny the defense motion for a mistrial. As you might imagine, the White House is watching these deliberations. They are preparing for a verdict.
We are in touch with mayors, governors, local authorities. When the jury makes their deliberations and concludes and a verdict is found, I'm certain the president will speak to that. He met with the Floyd family last year and has been closely following the trial. As he also always says, protests must be peaceful. That's what he continues to call for.
Also tonight, there is a new development in the death of Capitol Hill police officer Brian Sicknick. He battled rioters during the siege of the Capitol on January 6. And then, as you'll recall, he suddenly died the following day. Well, today, the D.C. medical examiner has issued a statement saying Sicknick died of natural causes after suffering 2 strokes, after, of course, being attacked by the rioters and looters. Videos obtained by the New York Times indeed show him being attacked. 2 men are now accused of assaulting Sicknick by spraying him with a powerful chemical irritant, which is marketed for its ability to stop a bear from charging at you in its tracks. Prosecutors have not linked that chemical exposure to Sicknick's death.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.